Hey guys, it's Geordie here. Well, we're all in lockdown at the moment, and I live in Victoria, so I am not allowed to legally go fishing right now. So I'm bored. Thought I'd make a video just showing you guys what lures and stuff that I like using to go chase flathead. And look, I know that there's already plenty of videos on YouTube about this already. This isn't probably new information for anyone. You're not going to see any new products here. But you might have your eyes open a little bit as to what size of lure a flathead will eat, because recently I've had that done and you might be a little surprised here. Okay, so we've got some lures here that we're going to take a look at, as well as some jig heads. First things first, I just want to let you know that my home waters are the northern end of Port Phillip Bay. So not very deep, not a lot of current. I'll probably fish up to about maybe 15 to 20 meters deep, and this soft plastics and jig heads get me down to the bottom and get me fish. So if you've got a waterway with a bit more current, but say it's more on the shallow side, this should still get the job done for you. If it's got more current but it's deeper, you may need to go a little bit larger on the jig head size. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take a look at the soft plastic lures, and the first soft plastics we are looking at are these Grub Tails here. So Grub Tails are my go-to lure. It's the lure that I recommend to anyone who's starting with soft plastic or lure fishing altogether. I recommend them to even people who are looking for a different kind of lure to use while out there if they haven't been using Grub Tails. The reason being is when the lure is moving through the water, that little tail wiggles really, really enticingly to all fish. And you don't need to do a lot to get that tail moving. You just have to have the lure itself moving. That little tail will wiggle enticingly the whole time. So it's not just flathead. I'll find that I've caught plenty of pike on them. I've caught whiting on them. A mate of mine has caught even gummy sharks on them. So yeah, those little grub tails there, you've got to have a few of those in your tackle box if you don't. So the ones we've got here are a 2.5 inch Z-Man in the motor oil. I find that's actually pretty good for land-based. And we've just got a couple of the 4-inch Nemesis from Berkley there. This one's in a white and this one's in the Bloodworm colour. Both are colours that I really, really like. So lately I've actually started to go away a little bit from the Grub Tails and start to use paddle tails like this Nemesis 4-inch and this Nemesis 5-inch from Berkley. The reason being is that I live near Werribee South, and I've been trying to get a jewfish from the mouth of the river there now for a couple of summers, but not too intensively, just mostly sort of hoping while using these grub tails that I might get a jewfish. Next summer, I am actually trying to go after that a little bit harder. So during those tide change times when the jewfish usually are out and about and feeding a little bit harder, I'm typically going to be throwing something like this 5-inch Nemesis paddle tail here to try and entice a bite from one of those. However, here is the really surprising part of this video. That 5-inch Nemesis is not the largest lure that I will use for flathead. Now I have to say a huge thank you to my mate Robbie. He opened my eyes up a couple of months ago when we were out on a fishing trip. When he was rigging up, I could not believe that he was putting one of these on his jig head. There's a 6.5-inch Nemesis, pink shine, big grub tail lure. So while we were out, he was catching flathead after flathead, 50 centimeters, all very, very nice fish, and they were engulfing the lure. Some of the fish had taken it so far down you could not see it hanging out the mouth. I could not believe what I was seeing with those large plastics. So from now on, I'm going to be using things like that 6.5-inch Nemesis, 6-inch grub, nuclear chicken, things like that. Big baits, big fish. You know, a lot of the people will tell you elephants will eat peanuts, and yes, that's true. However, if you want to tempt the big fish, you got to use a big bait. As far as my favourite colours go for flathead, look, I kind of go on basically whatever I've been catching most of them on the last few trips, and that can change. So up until recently, this Bloodworm colour had been a favourite of mine. However, the pink has now become my favourite colour for flathead. For a little while there, I would use nothing but white. Before that, I remember there was colours like this. Pumpkin seed and motor oil, this sort of more browny colour was my favourite for a while. Camo, nuclear chicken, they're great colours too. Look, there are so many colours of soft plastics out there and they all pretty much work on the Flathead. To me, it's not so much the colour, but it's more the action of those tails there, especially those jigging grub tails. Everything loves those, but Flathead will eat pretty much any one of those. Okay, so we're going to start looking at the jig heads now as well. One thing I just wanted to say is I've noticed a lot of people who buy jig heads for their fishing tend to buy all sorts of different hook sizes and different weights, but they don't have really any kind of consistency. And what I've done with my selection for jig heads is I've really narrowed it down so that I'm not buying all different sizes of hooks and all different sizes of weights. I've just got 2 different hook sizes, well, 3 sort of, but mostly 2, and 3 different weight sizes. So what I've got here is 1/0 hook size, and just a quick tip, I have these in the heavy gauge. If you hook a good fish, you're going to thank yourself for getting those in the heavy gauge hook. But yeah, 1/0 hook size, 4/0 hook size, and for those big 6.5-inch Nemesis, I might consider going to something like a 5 or a 6/0. When it comes to the lead weight size, I've got 3 major lead weight sizes. So in the 1/0 here, I have a 3.5 gram or 1/8 of an ounce. Then I have a 7 gram or a 1/4 ounce. Then when we go to the 4/0, I also have 1/4 ounce or 7 gram. And then I go to 3/8 of an ounce or 10.5 grams. Now this is a 1/2 ounce jig head, but again, this is sort of like I don't really necessarily need this. I can get away with putting that big Nemesis on this jig head if I wanted to. It's a little bit more hook gape on that one, so you've got a better chance of hooking the fish. But look, at the end of the day, these 4 jig heads here in these 2 hook sizes and these 3, 1, 2, 3 weight sizes, they will do everything you need for Flathead. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to thank you quickly for watching this video. Look, I'm not expecting to be revolutionary with this. I'm not expecting this to get that many views. I know it's not revolutionary. I know there's already plenty of videos on YouTube about this, but look, at the end of the day, when you're bored from lockdown with coronavirus, you're going to do something to keep yourself entertained, which is exactly what this is. And yeah, look, I'm hoping you might have learned something from it. If you haven't, well, I hope it was entertaining anyway. But yeah, look, like I said, I've been fishing my whole life, and it's only been until recently that I've sort of had my eyes open to the size of a soft plastic that a Flathead will go after. So I hope that gives you some more information and maybe some more options into what's actually in your lure bag and what you might use while you're out there. All the best, guys. Hopefully we'll be out there fishing again soon.